Hey everyone, so I'm back on my old stomping ground of disability rights, and it's a case I've been keeping an eye on for quite a while, since July of 2023 when it happened. It was an incredibly tragic case, and you've probably read about it in the papers. A woman had a seizure and lost control of her vehicle, and it drove into the grounds of study preparatory school when they were having their last day of term picnic, and it took the lives of two young girls, and their names were Selina and Nuria Sajjid. It wasn't something anybody could have foreseen. It wasn't something anybody could control. When you don't know that you have epilepsy, when you've never had a seizure before, it's not anything that you can do something to stop. And I absolutely understand the grief and the anger of the parents. But they don't accept that it was simply a tragic accident. They don't accept that there was anything preventable, there was nothing that could prevent what happened. They don't accept that the police investigation covered all the bases. They feel that the police investigation may have been biased against them. And it concerns me. When you've never had an epileptic seizure before, and you don't know that you have it, you simply cannot control when that first seizure will happen. And the only way to make any kind of charge against the driver, Claire Freemantle Stick, would be to suggest that she was lying about not knowing that she had epilepsy. To suggest that a disabled person was lying about not having the disability that they have. They want to counter their fear that the police were being prejudiced against them by suggesting that by suggesting an argument that is in itself prejudice against the driver. And as much as I can understand the grief and the pain of the parents, and I can, truly I can, anyone who's lost a child under any circumstances can understand the pain. When a child has been ripped away from you, you want to be able to blame something, and you want to be able to blame someone, but sometimes there really is nobody or anything to blame. It's not the only case right now in the news where disability discrimination is once again in the spotlight, but we'll get to that. For now, I'm going to continue to keep my eye on this particular case. As someone who has seizures, and as someone who is friends with people who have epilepsy, we don't lie about our disabilities, and we don't lie about when we do say we don't have them or when we say we do have them. It's hard enough out there being disabled. Truly it is. I'll leave a link in the description box down below. The pertinent quote from the families of the two girls: "We have always maintained that the initial investigation was flawed. When the CPS took the decision for no further action against the driver, we asserted that the original investigation was poor and we were unconvinced that the investigation was conducted thoroughly." The driver was then the driver wasn't diagnosed with epilepsy until after that crash, because she didn't know that she had epilepsy until that first seizure took place. It's very likely that she'd not had a seizure before then, or at least not had a seizure while she was awake before then. She may have had migraines on a regular basis that I don't know. Migraines are sometimes connected with seizures, as they are in my particular case, but they're not always recognised as being connected with seizures by neurologists. That's in my particular case. So it's not always easy to get a diagnosis of epilepsy, even when you have it. It wasn't the investigation that was flawed. I understand the pain. I understand the anger. I will keep these families in my prayers, and I will keep this driver in my prayers, because it was an accident. I'll leave a link to the latest article in the description box down below. Have a lovely day, lovely people.